Are you rolling? Hey everybody, welcome to a miserable Colorado winter. Here we have Mary. Oh, that's awful. So, here we have Perry, our Range Rover, one of the most unreliable cars ever made.
Oh my god, a screw just fell out. Oh no.
So we thought, Mary, you should try driving it for a week.
Right! Whenever there's a bad idea, they say Mary, and then I appear.
The reality is we don't like Mary very much. So we're giving her the worst car we own and seeing if she can make it a whole week without breaking down. Enjoy her junk, Mary.
Thanks, Tommy. You know those scenes in like terrifying, oh my god, look at the moon. The moon. You know those scenes in terrifying space movies where the spaceship is like about to implode and, oh my god, it's so dark. What? Does that help at all? No, not really. Okay. You know those scenes in space movies when like it's 10 seconds before the spaceship is certain to implode and you know, you're a minute away from Sandra Bullock being yeeted into the great wide nowhere? You know those movies, those scenes? That's what it sounds like when you turn this Range Rover on. Behold. And then you're dead in outer space. The reality is it only does that because if you're not already buckled, it's like, seatbelt, put your seatbelt on, please. And you're like, okay, that was my next step. Hold on. That's a funny little quirk. It doesn't infuse me with confidence for reliability. Don't stop me now, I'm having such a good time. I'm having a ball. What? Oh. One of my GoPros just turned off and I thought it was the car yelling at me because the car never stops yelling at me. When we talk about reliability, what does that mean? Reliability is the state of being reliable, which is a stupid dictionary definition, but basically means that you're trustworthy, you can be depended upon, and you're consistent. When I think of reliable things, I think of Nokia phones, leather wallets that, you know, you carry around for 70 years, cast iron skillets. You buy one of those things and you, like, it's your lover for life. I don't mean like it's your love for life. The IRS is very reliable. They're always out to get you. They're consistent. You can trust them to be on your ass. So far, I don't think I would include the Range Rover in the reliable column because it does just kind of feel like it's, you know, one little pebble away from falling apart. Now you may have noticed I have just pulled up to a gas station because we are almost empty. She's a thirsty gal. Let's see how thirsty she really is. Oh, hush. It's still yelling at me. Okay. It's a little windy. Oh my god. Oh. I went to the wrong side. The gas thing is on the other side. Okay, everybody chill out. Son of a... No, I don't want a car wash. I'm gonna get blown away, I think. Okay, cool. Emma. Eve. She's filling up. Great. Good thing I wore my hair down. All right, killers. Final number, $43.18. There's a lot of beeping, a lot of lurching, a lot of screaming, tiny screeches. So, I've been driving it for a couple days now, and the first thing I notice is a simultaneous feeling of power and also terror. I didn't know that those two feelings could go together, but that's what this car incites in me. You just feel tall. Like, it's a pretty tall ride. I will give it mad props for, like, comfort. I am snug as a bug on a rug. The seats are comfy, and they're heated, which I kind of feel like was, like, top-of-the-line technology for 2001. 2001 was 24 years ago. That's just nuts. Do you guys like my pink sunglasses? One thing about this car is you get kind of a calf-thigh workout from just trying to accelerate. Like, it's not pedal to the metal going 35, but it is like you have to really, really give some oomph to get going. So there it is. You really gotta push to accelerate. In a similar vein, the brakes are a little squishy. You do have to push pretty hard to stop. Truthfully, I like the vibe of this car because it feels kind of retro, but it's robust. It's like a robust type of retro. It smells like the feeling that you have walking into a record store. I don't know if you can smell a feeling, you probably can. Merging into traffic, I have yet to feel awesome doing that. No more Turners. Tina Turner. Big wheels keep on turning. Ride quality. Oh no. In my opinion, it's like a fun jostle. Like it kind of goes back to like you feel a part of something. You feel like you and the car are like in on it. You know, you're in cahoots. I'm sure I'd feel less in cahoots if I had to pay $1,000 combined for the suspension and the rotors and the battery and whatever else that people tend to pay for when they're taking care of these. But as of right now, as a person who does not know the Range Rover very well, I kind of feel like we're friends. Yeah, the acceleration is not reliable. Ah! It's good in the snow. The tires are pretty good. The kind of robust weightiness of it also makes me feel better. So I think you can reliably depend on its kind of robust nature. It's kind of like a bison, you know, from all my bison riding experience. The maneuvering's a little tight. I don't love the steering. All right, so TFL purchased this stunning piece of equipment for $4,000. Would you like to know what other stunning piece of equipment I purchased for $4,000? A RAV4. I love this car. I feel like it is very, very reliable. Insofar as I don't feel like it's gonna break down, I never feel like it's gonna tip over. I love, not that car. I don't know whose Tacoma that is, but that one's mine. They're both Blue Brothers. Anyway, it's kind of dark. So, if I had to like purchase one or the other, obviously, given my track record, I would pick the RAV4. Chiefly, for me, for the acceleration, it doesn't feel like you're hauling quite as much in that one, and the pedal is a lot more responsive. I'd say the RAV4 is closer to a cast iron skillet than the Range Rover. So far, I've also had the RAV4 for many, many years, so I've had a lot longer to get to know it. Its name is Bobby. Isn't that a good name? Now, I am a fan of buttons in vehicles. I don't love touchscreens, but this is kind of an overwhelming display. I do really love the analog clock. Steering wheel, not heated, cannot reliably warm your little cold hands. Also, a weird feature is that this is where you like roll the windows down, which is like why? Yeah, there's a lot going on in that center console. Maybe that'll help. Oh, the light! I do like the sunroof. I wish my RAV had a sunroof. Have you ever wanted an inside look at the backside of a Range Rover steering wheel? Probably didn't, but now you have one. So listen, is the Range Rover reliable? For 7 days? Yeah. I mean, I might swallow those words later if I break down on the way to work today, but like, you can reliably spend a lot of money on maintenance, like having a dog who has genetic hip problems. The other thing, the look of this thing, like when I first saw it, I was like, where's Dwayne Johnson? Where is Dwayne Johnson in his camo pants? When are we going through the jungle? So far, he has not shown up, which is devastating. Do you know what I mean, though? You know all those movies, the 7 movies with the exact same plot that Dwayne Johnson has been in, where he like drives something like a Range Rover through the jungle. He gets all sweaty and he uses his muscles. You know what I'm saying? That's the vibe I get from just the look of it. And I think it's kind of that boxy front. The color of this one helps too, because it just looks like it might blend in pretty nicely. I like how it looks. I also like how tall it is. It is rattly and loud. But you know, I've been driving, a couple days ago, I was driving home and there were 40 miles per hour wind gusts. And that was not fun. But I didn't feel unsafe because of the car. I felt unsafe because I was on a 1-lane highway and I was fishtailing in the ice. I'm pretty sure I would have felt afraid no matter what car I was in, whether it's considered reliable or not in the car community. So, I like the Range Rover, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if I'd ever buy it. As far as used cars go, I think if you can get one of these for cheaper, like sub 6,000 with sub 150 miles, and if you have like $2,000 a year tucked away, the Range Rover may be for you. Or if you just want to magically make Dwayne Johnson apparate. Look at the pink clouds. Sometimes getting up early is worth it. Okay, look, I turned this car on 20 minutes ago and it is still not warm. Also, these heated seats do not work. That was a lie. That was false advertising. The button's there. That's all I can say for sure. A big thing, I think, when you're buying a new car is determining how safe you feel in it. In some ways, I feel safer in this than when I'm driving like the Nissan Leaf. It's taller, it's more robust, it is less likely to get squished, so I have relatively better visibility. On the flip side of that, I do not have blind spot monitors, do not have a backup camera, and I don't have Apple CarPlay, that I don't even know when that was invented, but it definitely wasn't around in 2001. So I am unable to, like change music safely, or just having that Apple CarPlay screen is definitely a plus. Remember when I told you that I hoped that the Range Rover would be reliable for the 5 days I was driving it? Do you remember that? Had to get the last word in. So that's not awesome. Cool. You know what? I'm gonna see if maybe it's me that I don't understand something, because that is entirely possible. So let's do some research. It said engine disabled, press remote. So that could mean any one of these 3,000 buttons. Or... Okay, people. It was because the car had been left unlocked all day because I left it at the ranch. And in old cars, there's a security system called the mobility system, something like that, where if a car has not been unlocked or relocked for a long period of time, it won't turn on even if you have the key. Kind of brilliant, but also kind of stupid. But anyway, upon further research, she roars to life like the dragon she is. Problem solving at its finest, baby. All right, hopefully I make it home. I think the other thing about reliability is it's like all about maintenance, right? Like, I feel like you can and you should rely on things that you maintain. And with Range Rover, specifically this one, and I did a little bit of research on it. Like I said, I am not a car person. That's kind of why they have me do these reviews, because I don't think about these cars in the same way these guys do, because their brains are so inundated with car stuff. And I'm like, it's a pretty color, what's the car's name? But also, like, I do think about cars from a layman's perspective and reliability from a layman's perspective. And at the end of the day, I take care of my own car. It is about maintenance. Like, the maintenance is what essentially determines the longevity. And that's not necessarily like, something that nobody's said before, but it is something to be aware of, I guess, when you're considering buying an old vehicle. If you live in a snowy climate and knowing that you're going to be putting a lot of miles on it, you're gonna have to maintain it. And you should have that expectation from the get-go. And if you get something like a P38 Range Rover, you're gonna be doing a lot of maintaining. Do your homework before you get a car. If you don't want to be taking your car to the shop all the time, or you don't want to learn how to maintain your own car by yourself and learn those mechanics on your own, maybe don't get a car that's kind of notorious for faltering a little. But some people are totally down for that, and some people just really love Range Rovers, and no shade to those people either. But they've probably done their homework and they know what to expect. Also, if you're getting a car pre-2018, you're gonna be doing a little maintenance anyway. Oh no. Oh my God, a screw just fell out. All right, watch, Tommy. You buckle first and then it only beeps once.
Come on!
Yeah. Ready? She's not gonna get mad.
Wow. So Mary, 7 full days have passed since you started driving the most unreliable car in history.
Right.
And it's still working.
It hasn't broken down. I mean, it could on this drive.
There's still time. So I'm seeing you've driven it about, what, 400 or 500 miles in the last week?
Yeah.
Sound about right?
Mm-hmm.
What are your impressions?
Key takeaways. Tall. It's a lot taller than it looks like. What it looks like on the outside does not look like what it feels like on the inside.
Clear as mud.
Horrible acceleration, horrible braking, bumpy ride, but in a fun way.
Like a roller coaster, or like you're falling downstairs in a shopping cart?
How many fun experiences have you had falling down the stairs in a shopping cart? It's fun and like you're on a safari, you know? You're kind of like, what's gonna happen next?
Now when you say adventure is like what's gonna happen next? Is the car going to start?
It did not start one day. That did happen.
What happened?
It was, okay, the immobilizer system?
Yes.
Okay, and explain this to me.
There were a huge number of car thefts in like the 60s and the 70s. So what car companies started doing is utilizing electronics to make sure that like the key would actually communicate with the car. And apparently on this car, if the car is locked or unlocked for too long, maybe it forgets what position that immobilizer is in, and when you go to start it, it's like, oh my God, you're a thief. But when you locked it and then unlock it, did it reset it?
Yeah.
I did hear through the grapevine you had some problems with the radio.
Yeah, I was just driving. It was like I was arriving back home, and I looked down at this little screen, and it just says injured. The car was just like, we're hurt. We're hurting.
Was the radio working?
No, the radio wasn't even on, dude. And it didn't like slide through. Like, you know how usually it says like injured, 102.9.
Sure.
Nope. And another time it said butthole.
No, it did not.
It did. It just said butthole.
So one of the things I want to talk about with this car, Mary, is, you know, you spent a few weeks with other cars, like the Silverado EV. Obviously, you've been driving the Leaf for a long time. You know, your RAV4 is a V6 RAV4, which is a pretty big engine, but this is your first week with the mighty V8. This is the powerful engine.
Yeah.
And you think Perry feels slow?
Do you think it's the same engine from 2001?
Yes.
That makes sense. That's what I think too.
Do you feel safe in this car?
Yeah. It actually did really, really good in the high winds that we had last week. But yeah, I do feel safe in here because I'm the apex predator out here.
Because you're so tall.
You're not the one who's in trouble if you get hit. Unless you're getting hit, you know, by like a heavy duty truck.
A train.
Or perhaps a train.
This Range Rover has a reputation for being terrible.
Yeah.
In your week, do you feel like that's deserved?
No, yeah, okay. It's a yes and a no. Yes, because if this was my car, I would feel so frustrated all the time. Because it feels like you're physically moving it yourself. But also, no, I don't think it deserves the reputation because it does get you from A to B, and it is just kind of like an experience in here. You have fun.
What these cars are to drive, or they're like an experience.
Yeah.
Right? It makes you feel different than like a normal small SUV, like what you drive. But if I gave you $4,000 and said you can buy this interesting car that might break down, or your less interesting car with more miles, but will probably keep running, which one are you taking?
The latter.
You're taking the Toyota.
I'm taking the Toyota.
Yes. Well, Mary, thank you so much for your week in Perry. You did a great job.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me borrow him.
And I think the next car we give you will be quite a bit more modern.
Oh, you think?
Yes.
Okay.
Perhaps.
Perhaps. I kind of like the vintage ones. Give me the Model T.
All right. Now that would be a video worth watching.
Yeah,
All right, we'll
well.
see you guys next time.